And that should be it. We should be live right now.
Are you putting it up already?
Yep.
Oh, I
Just
thought we
have
were
to.
gonna wait. Okay, that's fine.
We have
That's
to be
fine.
sure. That's what I did last week. So
Okay, okay. Right.
yes, I can put the link in the chat as well, and then we
Yeah.
can.
The ready the readying up anyway, so it's fine.
Awesome.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh my god, there's a stream.
And we're on it. How uh,
Yeah.
how nice.
This is a first, isn't it?
Yeah. Just the fact that everything's working perfectly so far. I'm saying so far, and I'm expecting something bad to happen, but hopefully.
So you'll get disconnected, the stream will crash, whatever.
Um, we shouldn't talk about this right now. If there's one
Yeah,
thing
true,
we
true.
shouldn't jinx, it's this. So, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Well, we already have some messages in the chat, so Waluigi and Jacob are saying hello to us, and we're always glad to have you two here on the stream. Even though Jacob, you should probably concentrate on the racing, but yeah.
Nah, who needs racing?
Yeah, I mean, if your TV doesn't work, then yeah, who needs racing?
Oh, oh, you said you wouldn't bring that. Oh, it's raining. Wow.
This has gone from perfect to even more perfect. So yeah,
Lovely.
we finally have rain in Division 2. And as Rick says, let's hope Mark's wedding pays off. Uh, I genuinely hope that Mark finally gets his podium. And I think this should be his day. Hopefully.
It wouldn't be though, but we're all cheering for him.
And
So yeah,
we have a pretty good looking grid here. 17 people racing. It's a lot better than Division 3
and Division 1.
and Division 1, exactly. Well, we haven't really introduced this race, so I guess, yeah, we're back with Division 2 here in League of Europe. We are in Austria today, and as you can see, it's raining. Hopefully, this won't be the only rainy session today. I'm expecting some for the race as well. Maybe people can tell us what the weather looks like for the race. And Jago has been disqualified from the session. What a
Oh god.
Westy as well. So we have two people getting disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. How is that possible?
That's absurd. I did cut to them and they did look like they were going quite slow, but
But
that's really odd. I'm puzzled by that. Hopefully that we get some like confirmation from the people in the chat as to what actually went on there, because that is very odd.
I've never seen that before, and I don't think it's their fault. I mean, you have to admit that this game isn't really perfect and it has its flaws. And I think this might have just been the game showing us that still, after countless updates and everything, your race can literally get. I was going to say something that shouldn't have been said here. Um, I guess you could figure that out. Your race is really going to get destroyed here in qualifying just because of a silly mistake, which wasn't really on purpose. So.
Yeah, yeah. I actually got disqualified from qualifying session in D1 at Mexico because my wheel disconnected as soon as I headed out the pit, so had to stop, and yeah, got disqualified pretty much instantly.
And
Yeah, it is quite.
It is, as you're saying, Waluigi just told us in the chat that Jekyll's controller disconnected, so that does make sense now
Yeah,
that you brought that up. Oh, that's really unfortunate. We already have Campbell, who's suffered, I think, the last two races he's basically lost because his wheel had some issues. Now we have Jekyll's controller
he's not
disconnecting.
he's not the luckiest person in the league. We'll just say that much.
That is true. And
As we've got some times on the board, Sargent and Campbell, look how close they are. 3 thousandths of a second apart. Well, it's even saying 2 thousandths of a second for me, but yeah, that is, well, it's showing that these guys are very matched on pace. We don't know if the rain's going to ease off, but it does look pretty grim, I have to say. So hopefully the rain continues, because we'd love to get some action. These guys sliding around trying to find grip on the circuit. But yeah, we're just waiting for more potential times to come in. I believe Tom Albanach or Wade going around the penultimate corner. He takes it in fifth gear. Trying to keep it cautious. Mark showing that all that sweating, the 400 laps he did for this race, paying off. And his teammate now coming up to the line. He goes, wow, way quicker. 13.3. So, Ton Albanach looking at one with the wet conditions. He sets the pace early on.
And as we're still waiting for everybody to set their laps, we have, of course, we have our D3 drivers in this race as well, as we usually do. So today we have Fuzz, Bag of Bones, and Heated are the three drivers joining Division 2 from my humble division. And we also have a new driver. I think he is a Division 2 driver. So. Is it Steve or Stewie88? So
It's weird. Stewie. It's quite an odd one to pronounce, but
we'll just call
anyway.
him Stewie for now. He will be in the Haas, and he'll be racing here.
Ooh.
DRS enabled, so this will be interesting.
Yeah, this usually means that the slicks will be the tyre of choice. So be interested to see what the tyre choices are. As Wave goes even quicker at 12.8, so the conditions still seem to be getting quicker. And I am seeing a few cars in the pit lane have fitted on some slick tyres. Got Kryptonite is on Supers, Fuzz on Sauce, Tin Can on Ultra Soft. So these guys now opting to use different sets of tyres as the rain begins to ease off. And yeah, it seems to be that the slicks are going to be favoured at the end of the session, but it's all going to come down to who adapts to the conditions the best. But the rain, it's been fun while we've lasted, but it appears that it's going to be a bit short-lived, unfortunately.
And this session going from rainy to dry and to having the drivers put on their slick tires is just... It really... It's unfortunate for Westy and J. Cole, because they literally didn't even have to exit the pits. That happened. But yeah, we'll have to see what they do in the race, because it's possible for them to pull off something amazing, as Bree did last week. Pull off the last, not last week, in 2 weeks ago. Yeah, there you go. Pulled up the second challenge. So maybe J. Cole and Westy can do such a performance here in Austria. I'm just looking at Caesar. He's done some laps on the intermediates. I think he's had about 2 or 3 laps that have been invalidated so far. So I'm just looking to see whether he goes into the pits or not. And I think he will, as he approaches the end of this lap. He will enter the pit lane.
Well, a couple of cars that are out of the pits on slicks. I believe Kryptonite may be the first of them, and it'll be interesting to see. He should be able to go quickest, you'd imagine, by some margin, as it does seem to be pretty dry. There's no rain falling at all now. The track's obviously not going to be perfect, but it does seem to be pretty dry already. There's no real standing water or anything.
Looking at Fuzz, the slicks definitely have no problem driving here in these conditions, because the car just seems to act normally. No understeer, no oversteer, especially you could have noticed this here in this corner. So it's definitely time for slicks. It's time for this the times to drop down, and hopefully we'll have some surprises here in terms of who will get pole position. And if I was going to predict, I would say that Campbell might have a chance to get pole position here.
To be honest, as a first goes quickest on 11-0, that shows the improvement of the conditions. But in D2, you really can't bet on anyone. It is such a competitive division. I would maybe look at maybe someone like Sterling West. We know how quick he is. A really rapid driver. Also people like Jaco, who's been doing really well. Actually, no, he's disqualified. Whoops. Didn't mean that as an insult to the guy. And also someone like Mark, who, okay, he'll probably bottle it, but he's still been putting in practice Kryptonite on a 5.8, which is only a couple of seconds off the kind of times that you'd expect in throughway dry conditions. So that's really showing, how much quicker the track is getting, and we're going to be seeing those times tumbling down. And I reckon that by the end of the session, we could be seeing people in the 4s, maybe even in the 3s, should someone get a really good lap in. As Ben Tin Can goes up to the line, and again, another improvement, 6 tenths faster than Kryptonite. The times coming down and down. These guys just bettering each other's times. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how this evolves.
Let's look at Mark in the Toro Rosso. He is on his lap, and he's now approaching the last corner. Where will he come? He sets 104.9. He is on provisional pole, so that does prove that Mark has been putting some serious practice in for this race, and he is one to basically beat here at Austria. We'll have to wait for Sterling West, who, as you said, is a really rapid guy, and he's always the favorite for pole position and the race win. But I decided to choose Campbell as my man on pole because, I just want to see somebody else be in the spotlight. Because Sterling, of course, will probably be up there and will probably fight for the win today. But West Jacob has left the session.
Well, that's a big issue because he was the lobby host. That could interrupt the connection. Not sure, but I must have disconnected or something because he's not the kind of person to just leave. So very strange. Hopefully he can get back in and sort this out again because he's pretty important for him to be here. As Campbell's out. What's going on here?
Are we gonna have a restart here? Because it seems really weird.
Oh, yeah.
That some McLaren drivers just going out.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it. At least the Discord chat doesn't.
Oh.
Doesn't show
There's
anything.
another one. Yeah, surely we're gonna have to restart. Yeah, it's mass disconnection.
I think this is because we lost our host. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said that Jaco being out the session could be serious, and it has turned out that way. So I would imagine that we're going to get a restart. That would be a bit unfair on the people that are out here already. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
As I just got kicked out of the session as well.
Yeah, I'm still in, but yeah, about 3 other people are out. So yeah, Caesar as well. Yeah, they're going to have to restart. This is just pointless at this point.
Well, at the beginning, you did say that I was going to disconnect, and the live stream will just have to be restarted. But it seems like the live stream is fine. So you didn't jinx that. I guess we have that going for us. Division 2 will of course be delayed a bit since we have to make a new lobby. But we'll still be here, and as Ghost Recon and myself did last week, we might just have a chat here on whatever you want to talk about.
I'm not great with conversations, but anyway, I'm still in the session, by the way. There's exactly 3 cars running around the track right now, thinking that this is still on because they're all on hot laps. which is quite strange.
Well,
But
they
yeah,
they might
hopefully.
just get their practice in
Yeah, that's a good point.
for the real
Let's see.
qualifying. Now, it's gonna be interesting. Will J Cole and Westy get a chance to settle up, or will they have to get disqualified? How's that gonna work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to be fair though, the disqualification wasn't really their fault because Jacob's controller disconnected, so we've heard. So I would imagine that they're probably. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Probably be able to race. I'd imagine that'd be very unfair if they couldn't. But I guess sometimes racing isn't fair. That will obviously have to be sorted out. As Jaco actually just says in the chat. I mean, at least I get to qualify now. So yeah, that basically confirms it then.
Well,
I'm somehow I've not been kicked out. I'm just gonna leave now because it's a bit pointless watching one car racing around.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
we'll
at
just.
least you know that you're really lucky. You're one of the lucky few that got to see the end of that session.
Yeah, what an amazing session that was with three people.
I think this is just because you predicted that J Cole would have a chance of getting pole position. You're basically the
Oh
one that
yeah,
gifted
that's
him.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you gave him the gift of racing.
Yeah, he has a lot to thank me for, that's for sure. Um, hopefully we can get this underway quickly. Um,
I think it's gonna
yeah,
take some time since the host will have to alter the weather to make it exactly like it was before. So
oh yeah, custom weather. Uh,
we're
at
probably
least
gonna be here
if
for a
it's
while. As Tigaby
at least
notices in on the Discord just now that he notices that he got kicked, and he was asking if anyone else got kicked as well. So yes, Tigaby, everyone
nah,
got kicked.
you're the only one, man. No one else got kicked. It was just you, unfortunately, mate.
Tin Can noticed that he got kicked as well.
Yeah, I do hope that this isn't just a problem with J. Cole's internet or something, because that we can't have this happening more than once, really. Um,
That,
yeah,
you know,
hopefully that's just a one-off.
it might not be his internet. It might just be the game itself, because I've had this
Yeah,
happen
maybe.
to me before, where I literally couldn't get in any session, and my internet was fine, and I had to basically rejoin a race about 4 or 5 times. So it just depends. And this
Yeah,
isn't J Cole's lucky day.
some lobbies I've been in that are just really glitchy. I've had times where cars are completely desynced and they're on top of each other and things like that. And I'm seeing a driver that's in reality I'm right next to that's halfway around the lap on my screen. So
Well, that happens in Division 3 usually, so
yeah,
I've had that happen with Maka before. It was fun to literally not see Maka on track for the majority of the race, and I was listening to the live stream. The commentators uh, were just saying that I was battling with Maka, and you know, it's interesting. But yeah, I think people are just setting up the lobby now. Didn't get the invite yet.
yeah. Hopefully this is all wrapped up. So I don't know if we're gonna keep the weather the same because this is the latest starting division, and we don't want this to run too late. Um, but I
Yeah,
guess if it has to be done, it has to be done.
I mean, just having a completely dry race wouldn't wouldn't really be fair, to be honest. If the game wanted
Yeah, I get that.
to give them rain, then let there be rain. But I understand your point of view as well, because uh, Division 2 is starting really late. We're gonna have about a half hour. Uh, we're gonna get past the half an hour mark um, with this delay. So yeah. Well,
Uh huh.
we're still here. That's that's important.
Why? What's happened?
I don't really think anything happened.
Oh, okay. It's a little bit odd. I have noticed, just looking at my friends list, that Mark is apparently in the lobby, so I'm not sure if he's going to be hosting this one. Maybe they figured Jaco isn't the right choice for the job or something.
That
Um,
might be the case since J. Cole got kicked from his own session. And there you go, Mark
yeah,
just sent the invites. So,
yeah. I know him to have pretty decent internet. I'm not sure if it is that, but doesn't matter now. Hopefully this next session goes to plan, as I've not got an invite yet. Just,
I can send it to you right now.
cheers, mate. Right.
And there you go.
Alright, thanks.
Well, people are joining. Nobody is complaining in the chat. So I think we're good. I mean, this is the second
Lovely.
time we've said this, but hopefully it'll be the last time. Uh, we've had a race get cancelled in PRL before just because we had to restart it a lot. So hopefully that
Yeah,
doesn't happen here.
please don't bring that up if that's gonna happen. But anyway, I've noticed that Mark has set the weather to be clear. So I wouldn't have minded if he'd put it on dynamic. It's just completely random, but looks like we are gonna have a full dry race.
Well, I think Mark's just giving himself a little bit of an advantage.
With all that practice.
Yeah, he clearly hasn't really practiced in the wet. Um, yeah, we're just joking, of course, but
Yeah, that would be that's a very Mark thing to do. I wouldn't be surprised. Um, just waiting. We had a 17 car grid, I believe, earlier. So we've got
uh,
15 guys in now.
yeah, just two people left.
Right.
Let's just invite Bree, as he is asking for an invite.
I'm sure you've never heard this one before, mate, but you sound like Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. You're right. That's a new one. The thing is, I don't. I mean, I guess I do sound like him a bit, but I don't hear that all of the time.
Well, we've got everyone in now, I believe. 17 drivers. Actually, no, you're one of them, actually. Oh, no, Sarge's just joined. No, the Sarge was in. I'm getting confused.
Yeah, he
We're
was
still waiting for.
here for just a couple of seconds, and now he's
Yeah,
back. No, he's not.
yeah, we're just waiting for one guy, I believe. And we
Yeah.
can get this running. And
So just
if I'm
here.
not if I'm not mistaken, it's oh the new guy. I can't remember who he is, but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Stewie. Yeah.
Stewie. He's not here yet. Oh, has he just came? No. Wait, yes.
Wait. So
Looks like
we had 17 drivers, and now we have 18 if Stewie joins.
okay.
So
Oh, that's Evolution. Evolution joined late,
oh
I think,
yeah,
so that explains that.
yeah. You're right. Well, so we just have to wait for Mark to invite Stewie.
He is new, so I'm not sure if he's on any friends lists or something, so it might not be too easy to actually get him in, although he did get in earlier.
Oh, and we have somebody in the chat acknowledging the fact that I do sound like Nico Hulkenberg.
Oh, That's what I was bringing up earlier. I wasn't just saying that you sound like Nico Hulkenberg. I was pointing that out.
Yeah, I mean, I you should have mentioned that as well.
That's fine, don't worry.
It would have been interesting just to have two people bringing that up just at basically at the same time. So
But you do, though. You really do. Oh, there's Stewie. Okay.
yeah, I guess I do. Well,
So now we have 18 drivers in. Big Red. If he just picks his car, we can get this moving.
looking at the connection bars, I think it should be fine. I'm seeing mostly green bars here, so we should be good.
Yeah, apart from the foreigners, we're fine. So yeah, it looks like the connection's good. Is everyone now readying up? Let's do this. Second time of asking. Let's get into this. The Austrian Grand Prix.
Just look at the Discord chat. Everybody is ecstatic for this race to start again.
Yeah.
Bree is excited. Jaco is excited. Of course, Jaco is excited since he's actually gonna put some laps in.
Don't jinx him.
Okay.
Who knows? He might get disqualified again. Who knows? Um,
Caesar told me to score a podium. Um, I will this season. Let's say, where will Hulkenberg score a podium? Um,
never.
yeah, that might be true. I'm gonna say Monaco, since looking at the how the weather's looking next week, we're gonna have some rain in Monaco.
Ooh, tasty. Yeah, hopefully you can get a podium, although Monaco's already passed in this season, so the chances...
Well, talking about League of Europe, I might have a chance maybe in Brazil, but in real life, if one Hulkenberg doesn't is not looking great, especially with that Renault engine. Yeah,
Anyway,
let's get back to the important stuff. My voice just cracked. That's amazing. I didn't sound like Nico Hulkenberg then. So we have a sunny circuit here, the sunny Red Bull Ring in Austria.
yeah, Mark setting it to clear just so he has a chance. Classic. But we'll see if he can use it to his advantage and set some quick times. If we're looking for pull times, probably in either the high threes or the low fours you'd be looking at. As cars coming out to pits, got a lot of drivers on softs and a couple on supers, quite a few on ultras. So quite a mixed bag of tyre choices as the cars exit the pits. So as we're at the second time of asking, this time, who's your money on?
I guess I should still go for Campbell. That would be fair.
Top
So yeah,
lad.
I'm gonna say the McLaren driver will get pole position. Although it will be interesting because, of course, whoever chooses to go on the ultra softs will probably get pole position. So if Campbell chooses a different strategy, then I'm gonna have to change my prediction. So it's really difficult to call here.
Caesar in the chat, voice cracking under pressure because Stroll already has a podium. Yeah, that's quite a that's almost a sad stat. I look into Stroll has a podium and Hulkenberg doesn't. It's yeah. Well,
It's not sad to be honest. It's one of those fun facts that nobody would believe if you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, true.
It's like
I'm watching.
Pastor Maldonado winning the 2012 Spanish Grand Prix. As Fuzz leaves the session, this is not looking good.
Alright, two things. Hopefully he can get back in, and hopefully he's the only one. We can't be having mass disconnection again. At least he's not the host.
Well, yeah,
So
it's
hopefully it doesn't-
still bad that we have one person go out. I'm just looking
Yeah.
at J. Cole because he's the man to watch right now.
Oh, there
as
goes
Fuzz
back in.
joins back.
Right.
That-
Yep,
That's
brilliant.
that's just that's good. That's refreshing. Jaco 104.8 is the first lap on the super soft. So I think your prediction that we might see a low fours to high threes, it's gonna get shattered here. It's Westy 104.1 on the ultra soft. Wow.
That is quick.
I would say it's a bit unexpected. Let's see where Mark comes. Mark comes with a 104.6. He's 5/10 behind the Ferrari. He's gonna have to work harder if he wants to get that pole position. Tin Can gets in front of him. Wow, we already have a mixed grid here. Some of the quicker guys haven't really set a lap, so let's see what Sterling West is gonna do. On the soft tire, he's just starting his lap.
What an impressive lap by Westy though. That is going to take some beating. Kryptonite in a 104.6 on Supers. That is a pretty good from the Mercedes himself. But Sterling West, he is on the softs, but we know how quick he is. And we'll see what he's able to do. The fastest soft time at the moment is from Brie, 5.7. But maybe we could be seeing that toppled here as long as Sterling is able to keep it clean as it goes braking into turn 4, I believe, but corner names are, the corners are a little bit disputed, but I believe this is turn 5 and 6. Or just turn 5, I'm getting a bit confused. Anyway, Sterling, now, deep, third sector, trying to clip it to the inside curve, puts it up, revving it into 6th gear. Now, the final 2 corners, you need to be fully committed here. No hesitation, goes to the outside curve, chucks it in, just about keeping it on the track, down into 4th gear. Good run for the final corner. Where does the Red Bull man go? He does a 5.3, 4/10 ahead of anyone else on those soft tyres. So again, he's showing his pace early on in the session, but even he may have a little bit of trouble challenging that time from Westy, because that is a really good lap from the Ferrari.
That was a great lap from Sterling. Although I think he might have just held back a little bit, because we've seen 105.3 in Division 3 as well on the soft tire, so I don't know whether the Division 3 drivers are starting to pick up their pace, or the Division 2 drivers are just hiding their full potential and they're just sandbagging on this first stint. But yeah, that's irrelevant for now. We'll see at the end what kind of times everyone will set. We have Tigaby on the super softs, setting his lap. I'm really looking forward to Tigaby's race, because of course he is the championship leader as he puts it in the wall. So, well,
nice commentator's curse there, man.
I'm really sorry about this. It's just, you know, we really can't help it. Well, let's look at heated here.
Curse.
Exactly, it's impossible, and it has to happen in every single race. Heated there goes up to 11th on the soft tires. That's a good lap from the Division 3 man. Who else do we have? We have Fuzz and Zero yet to set their lap times on the soft tires. And Tigaby doesn't really have the best start to this qualifying session, but of course we shouldn't take him out of the picture for pole position.
we know how good he is. He'll surely bounce back. So I expect that towards the end of the session you'll be seeing him fighting for the top spots. But right now he's got some work to do. Hopefully he can pull it all together. So who's on a lap? Mark's just starting a lap.
Westy with a fresh pair of ultra softs is
interesting.
Turn 5 here. A bit wide there. I think that's invalidated.
I'll just check actually. No, it's not invalidated actually. So he's gonna continue on. He went fastest in the second sector as well. So he's looking good. Bit wide. That surely invalidated that time, or is it? Runs wide again. Come on, you can't have that many chances with a lap. Surely he pretty much matched his time by went just under a tenth slower. But yeah, not an improvement for him. So even he struggling to topple that 4.1. And I think we'll be seeing the other drivers maybe coming close and possibly beating it later on in the session. But if that's what he was able to do with like almost no track evolution, we could be seeing him going even quicker in the future.
Let's just look at Mark, who did go a bit wide in just before the last corner there, and he does improve. He does set a 104.3. Still not close enough to nick pole position off of the Ferrari, but it is an improvement as Ben, or Tin Can rather, with a 104.2. Small improvements here and there, but it might be just enough to get yourself a spot on the front row. Will it be enough to get pole position for Westy though? We'll have to see what other people do.
Well, I'm looking at Kryptonite. He is very quick over one lap, we know that very much, and he goes around the last corner, full commitment right up onto the outside curve, up to the line, and it's a 4 dead. That time of Westy finally falls. Kryptonite about halfway through the session onto pole, so I think we will be seeing drivers stepping into the threes, and that looks like it's what it's going to take to get pole position. Pole position in D1, myself, was a 3.5, so maybe we're seeing other drivers get within a few tenths of that. It'll be good to see for D2 especially. And so Jaco, he's another man that's on a lap.
I think we'll get close to that, because just a 104.0 on a second stint, I think that's really good enough. I want to see what Sterling does. He is on the super softs, so I think he might be preparing his final stint on the ultras, since he's gradually using all the compounds. Used the softs in the first stint. Now starting his lap on the super softs, and will probably end up doing his final lap on the ultras. Let's take a look at him.
Yeah, Bree has done a pretty impressive lap, a 4.6 on the super soft. So actually, has he? Yeah, well done to him. But yeah, Sterling actually had his time bested by both Caesar and Campbell. Campbell did a 5.0 on the softs, which is pretty darn quick. But Sterling, you'd expect someone like him to be up there. Gets up to 328 kilometers an hour braking into turn 4. On to the throttle as a Red Bull now, turn 5. Uses that curb to sling himself in 4th gear to rotate the car. Runs out onto the exit curb, trying to use as much of the track as you can. That's the thing with Austria. You've just got to maximise the width of the track. Every millimetre of road that you have. Now, braking into the last 2 corners. Got to be fully committed here. Takes it pretty cautiously, it has to be said. Now, last corner, runs it out wide, up to the line. He's going to be in the 4s. He still has a 4.7, which isn't actually as quick as Bree. So Bree showing that he's got pace around here. So Sterling is going to have to go again, potentially on the Ultrasoft next time, to try and move up the grid.
That's I would say that's really surprising. I was expecting Sterling to be a bit quicker than that. And Ziggby as well. Ziggby doesn't really have the best of luck in this session. I don't think the 106.5 that he set on Supers is a time that's going to reflect his ability over here. Oh, there we go, as he just goes a bit quicker. On 3-lap all Super Softs, he is now into 9th place with a 105.0. I still don't know who will get pole position here. It's still hard to tell, as we have yellow flags at sector 2.
I expect a lot of drivers to be going on the Ultra Softs at the end of the session, which will make things very intriguing. Because all these guys, they're going to be close on pace. In Austria, such a short track, they're going to be getting close lap times. So, yeah, fully expect to have a tight grid here. And I'm watching Tanavanak or Wave, who's not had the best of times this season in his debut in D2. He's just having to adapt to it, but he's got some work to do to see what he does. Breaking down at the end of the first sector, 2nd gear, gets good traction on the way out. They didn't really fight the car at all, so we're going to be following the Toro also, who I know has a lot of capabilities as just a one-lap specialist. He showed that in D3 last season. and has showed that at times in D2, but hasn't quite been able to utilise his pace as consistently, breaking into turn 5. He stays on the throttle the whole way around the corner, that pushes him a little bit wide, but he's still going to continue. Now, through turns, I believe it's turns 6 and 7, or 7 and 8, I'm getting confused here. Now the Toro also goes in 7th gear, very high gear, through the last 2 corners. 5th gear, final corner, runs out onto the outside curb, and he's on a 4.5. He goes just a little bit quicker, but with how high the standard is in this session, right now he's the slowest soft runner.
As you were looking at Wave's lap, Mark just improved. He is now in 3rd on 4.1. Still not good enough for him, but he isn't on a podium spot as of right now. I think he'll be happy with that. Still not the end of the session though. We still have 4 minutes to go. It's enough time to see a lot of change here. Oh, and Kryptonite 103.9. There you go. It's the first man to drop into the 103s. Oh, it will be interesting now because I don't think there's anyone that could beat him. I genuinely think that time is really good.
It is a very impressive time, but we saw Westy, he set that 4.1 right at the start of the session. The track is a little bit quicker now, and certainly when I was racing in D1, I found about half a second from the beginning of the session to the end of the session. So I wouldn't count out Westy just yet. He's only just over a 10th away still. But yeah, great lap from Kryptonite. That is definitely going to take some beating.
The thing about Westy, he set that lap right at the beginning of the session, but he's yet to improve on that time. Which I don't know whether it means that he's just pulling off and waiting for the end, or he literally cannot get close to that time, because to set such a lap in your first stint is really impressive, and I think it's really hard to get that back. So
yeah, definitely.
We have J. Cole starting his lap now. Westy will be joining him soon. Let's just look at Westy actually. Let's see if he can improve. Hopefully he can. And hopefully we'll have a bit of a battle here at the end.
Wait, I just want to check. The Ferrari man has actually set a 3.8, but it was invalid. So that just shows the kind of pace that he has. He just needs to put it all together now in these laps as he breaks down into turn 3. Manages to get a decent enough exit, just a small amount of oversteer, and now shifts up 7th gear, accelerating up 320 kilometers an hour hard on the brakes into turn 4. Rotates the car pretty aggressively, and now opens up the throttle, trying to shift up through the gears, keeps it in 6th, down into 4th for this long left-hander, and braking now, trying to swing at the car. You use that exit curve out of turn 8, and we've got a McLaren just ahead. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way too much, but Campbell has, he's not got in the way exactly, but it's just a little bit of a distraction for Westy. That curve pushes him well wide, and that's going to ruin both this lap and his next lap. So I think the Ferrari man, his session might be done now.
I think he still has enough time to get this lap ready and have another one, but I don't think he might have enough fuel. We'll have to wait. Kryptonite just goes out of the pit lane. What is J. Cole doing? J. Cole set a 104.2, so I think he improved on his last lap, and he's now just behind Bree. Well, I think Westy might just have been really unlucky there, having the McLaren in front of him, but yeah.
Jacob gets the slipstream up to the line, but he's not improved. He's compromised so much from the server in front of him, hits him into turn 1. So Jacob having his lap severely hampered by the server, who I believe he was on his out lap, so I'm not sure why he decided to get in the way there. But anyway, Jaco, that's effectively ended his session right there and there. So now Mark, he's still in a good position here, and I have heard he has done some pretty quick times in practice. So he is definitely going to be one to watch as he rounds now into the third sector.
Well, J. Cole is it's still a better result for him than it was in the last session. As Tiggerby retires, Tiggerby did not have a good qualifying session at all. He is currently
Mark
15th
runs
on the
wide
grid.
out of the final corner. Mark
That's
doesn't
it.
improve. Yep. Kryptonite's just got the track all to himself. I can't see anyone beating him. It's Caesar, who we know was a championship leader at one point, coming around the final corner. A bit wide though, that's going to compromise his run all the way up to the line. What's the time going to be? It's a 4.5. He's nowhere really. There's been an incident involving Wave. He's taken out another car, and that was Stardust is going into the wall. So chaos in this session, and we've got a couple more cars across the line. The Bag of Bones, who's becoming a bit of a veteran of D2 now, despite being a full-time D3 driver. He get another car running wide at the final corner against just so many mistakes at the end of the session. And I believe Kryptonite has got the track all to himself here. Comes across the line and goes even quicker at 3.8. So in the end, a dominant display from the Mercedes driver, and he puts it on pole. Given it's a short lap at Austria, a margin of 2.5 tenths is quite something.
Well, I would say this is a pretty unexpected turn of events. We have Sterling in 12th, we have Tiggerby down there in 16th. I would say two of the favorites have not showed anything here in qualifying. So I have Kryptonite starting on pole. The Mercedes driver has proved that he is really good in terms of race pace as well, and it will be interesting to see him here today, since it will be a dry race. I'm not expecting that many surprises here, but I think the man to watch right now is Mark, starting in 4th. He will be looking to get his first Division 2 podium, and he will need to make some moves here, especially in the first lap. Well, we have a race on our hands, that's for sure.
We do indeed. So Kryptonite, that pace has got to be pretty intimidating for the rest of the field. I know Westy did a pretty quick lap that was invalid. There was a 3.8, and I heard Sterling has said in the chat that he invalidated pole position. So a lot of guys that had the pace to challenge that lap, but just couldn't put it all together. Whether they can now make an impact on the race is going to be another matter. And another thing that we've got to look out for, the track limits can be pretty strict here, especially out of turn 10 and turn 1. You know, they both, if you run just a little bit wide on the exit, you get a warning. So we could be seeing quite a few penalties building up here, and the drivers that are able to avoid that will be the ones to get benefit at the end of the race.
That is true, and as you've said, many drivers had the pace, but since they invalidated the laps, I think we'll see a lot of penalties in the race as well, and they have to be careful and have to make sure they're going to be keeping it clean and within the track limits. So you don't want to lose this race because of penalties. But we have the drivers starting the formation lap here. Kryptonite in pole position. See, he's just getting some heat into the tires, of course. Well, I am expecting a bit of chaos here in the first lap, to be honest. Don't know if you will agree with me, but I think there will be some incidents, especially into turn 1, since we have a lot of quick guys just at the back of the grid. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll either be a great race, great clean race, or it'll be a massive crash fest. We're obviously hoping for the former because no one wants to see crashes. Well, at least I hope not.
No,
But
of
yeah,
course not.
yeah. So hopefully these guys they're able to keep it clean. It is a very narrow and tight turn one, with a very short run down to it. So the pack is going to be bunched up, and all these guys will be eager to make positions off the line. So hopefully we don't see anything too drastic. Maybe you'd expect a few little bumps and scrapes, but hopefully no wings fly off as Kryptonite leads the grid round the final corner as they're about to line up. There's 18 cars here, and here they are preparing the Austrian Grand Prix about to get underway.
It's nice to see 18 drivers in Division 2 because Division 2 used to be um, the worst in terms of how many people actually came here to race every week. So we have a pretty good turnaround here. But let's go. Let's get those lights on. And the lights are out. This looks like a really good start for the Red Bull there of Tin Can. Mark will try to make a move into the first corner, but no, he's gonna get blocked up by the Sauber of Brie. Oh, and there's a Williams spun. Caesar.
Oh, massive crash down at the back of the field. Caesar was taken out and just went across the track and taken out quite a few cars. There's more contact down at the hairpin.
J. Cole lost a bit of his front wing there as well. It's gonna be a 5-second stop go. Caesar, a lot of 5-second stop go penalties, a lot of overtaking there during yellow flags. This is a really chaotic start to the Austrian Grand Prix, as I was expecting it.
I'm expecting a lot of cars to be coming into the pits. It's going to be interesting to see because there was definitely, even after the start, there was a lot of cars picking up wing damage and little scuffles at the start. But it looks like a lot of these guys are going to be staying out, continuing on even with minor front wing damage. But Kryptonite setting the pace early on, despite all the chaos, he leads them away. Over a second clear of Wesley already, so he's made the most of that pole position. Got himself out of, well, not quite out of TRS range, it's very close, but not coming under for any sort of pressure, and just hoping they can just control the race in the front.
Mark almost collected Tin Can there into the second corner, as Brie will now try to make a move for 4th place, and he will, going downhill into turn 4. Mark just does manage to keep it in front. Nothing changed pretty much at the top, but we did have many incidents going further down the grid. Caesar, of course, lost 10 places here in the first lap. Really unfortunate. He got into an incident with I think it was one of the McLarens, I'm not sure. And Caesar does have a 5-second stop go penalty as well. So that's really. What happened? Sarja is out.
Sarja, I saw a car going very wide out the final corner, and that was Sarja because he's just gone straight on. I'm not sure how he's managed that, but the Williams driver out of the race, but a disastrous start for Williams, and I can't see it improving much more. I believe his name is there, or I thought he was stuck in the pits, but he has actually managed to get himself going. Got a good train here.
We have a safety car here.
Safety car has been deployed after Sarge's incident, and well, I think it's too early in the race to expect pit stops under the safety car, except maybe those that have a bit of damage. I just want to get rid of that.
The ones that have the ultra softs, they might try to do something there. Maybe put on the supers and then go for the softs at the end, but it's not really worth it to change your strategy here on the 3rd lap. What's interesting is the fact that we actually have a safety car. I think that's a pretty rare occurrence here in League of Europe.
Yeah, it does appear that most people, in fact that everyone so far has managed to, or has decided to stay out. Apart from
Jaco, is it?
Jaco Gonna take the Caesar. Well, a race that was going disastrously for him is just got even worse because he's got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's exceeding the delta that the game gives you. So horrible luck for the
Jekyll
Williams man.
puts on a new set of ultra softs and gets a new front wing as well. Evolution behind him on the softs, but does need to change his front wing. Caesar, really awful start to this race, but this safety car might just be his savior. He might be able to get back there in the race and fight for potentially the last point there. Still a long race to go. Just look at Kryptonite here going behind the safety car. He's not doing the Lewis Hamilton, just basically racing with the safety car. He's keeping it clean behind that Mercedes AMG GTS. I really want to see the game update to the GTR, but yeah, I'm just nitpicking now.
Nah, that's not just nitpicking. It can't even like update the car. Like that car is several years old and they're keeping it in the game. It's shocking, isn't it? But anyway, we're just watching these guys run around.
I think, you know, as you're saying, I think that's why the safety car doesn't really come out as much. It's just for us to not see it.
Yeah, we've got another pit stop here. Fuzel, who goes in, nice and conservative pit entry for him. He doesn't want to get a penalty, which is fair enough. He's going to rejoin the back of the grid anyway. Puts on another set of softs. No front wing change. Seems like... Is he stuck in the pits, or is that just a graphical glitch? Because... Oh no, he has gone, okay.
I think he was
like
he was not paying attention there.
Oh, okay, so he didn't pull out the clutch, is that what happened?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the reason why he was there for so long. The safety car is still on track. The thing is, I haven't even seen Sarge's car when he retired, so...
Yeah, well, we're all hoping that...
We might have some loose manhole covers here, as we did at Baku.
I do hope that these guys are, well, the safety car is able to come in quickly, because we don't want to be watching all these guys just running around the track. And there we go, actually, safety car in this lap. So, for lap 5 of this race, we're about to see these guys get back to racing, which is always what we want to see. Kryptonite leading the now bunched field. The Mercedes man will go when he pleases. So he leads the grid away, and we're going to get this race back underway. Mercedes driver Kryptonite put it on pole, has looked dominant so far, but he's going to have to put up with another challenge as he gets the race back underway again.
Kryptonite goes really wide there until the final corner. Ooh, look at that.
3 wide. Get 3 wide.
Contact
Campbell
and
makes it right outside. Oh, that's Bree. And was that Sterling? Yeah, Sterling.
Yeah,
actually had one of the best starts. But in the midfield, we've got 4 cars going for the same piece of track. Back of Bones, able to get in front. He's got Tigabay on his inside. The Mercedes doesn't quite get through. He's got Jekyll now next to him, swipes the McLaren. And these guys now going back and forth, side by side, all over the place. And currently it's Jekyll and Tigabay wheel to wheel. Both these guys high up in the championship standings. Jekyll almost makes contact with the Cyber in front. Has got more battling, and behind Stewie's able to pick his way past Heated, who's an experienced driver in the league. So well done to the new man. He has a little look, a bit of a rash move on the inside of Tigabay, but doesn't quite get through on the Mercedes. But Tigabay looking like he's struggling early on and not quite able to activate those soft tyres. But up at the front, Kryptonite has looked good, he's looked strong, but we've got more racing going on as Jaco manages to make his way past back of Bones around the penultimate corner. We've got Stewie still chasing these guys, running up behind Tigabay, but yeah, a lot of chaos, a lot of battling, not too much incident though, as the drivers continue to run round as now we're on lap 7.
Since the restart, Tigaby has not been afraid to get his elbows out, and we've just seen in this little battle with the J. Cole, he's been pushing the McLaren out of the track, pretty much. Oh, look at that! Bag of Bones is now has spun around. Tigaby has just gone into the tower.
Well, the Sauber is still going, but yeah, there was definite contact. Tigaby getting so aggressive with these guys. He's now side by side with Stewie. He's got heated up the back of him, the Force India, and he runs him just to prepare. But yeah, Tigaby getting his elbows out, as you said. He's really not.
Oh, and Stewie has touched. Got into the back of Tigaby. No damage, I think, for the Haas driver there.
Yeah, messy, very messy on these guys. His name of Zero is able to get his way past Heated, and lost quite a few possessions in that sequence of events. As again, we've got Zero looking at the inside of Evolution a little bit. As we've got Caesar into the pits. This race not going well for him at all. He was doing pretty well on that restart, but he's not in, and maybe putting on the set of the softs.
J. Cole, will he make a move into turn 2 here on Wave Intel as Caesar gets disqualified? A lot of penalties for many drivers there. Tigaby gets a 3-second time penalty. We've seen somebody else with a 5-second stop go. J. Cole is up into 6th place. Wave will try to get his position back as Heated picks up a time penalty as well. Bit of a nice battle here between the McLaren and the Toro Rosso driver. J. Cole is still in front, and I think that's just good enough for him to keep 6th place. Wow, what a race we've had so far. We had our chance to just lay low and be a little bit calm during the safety car, but now, since the restart, everything is just is mad. The thing is, there's nothing really happening at the front. As I'm saying that, Tin Can is trying to make a move into turn 1 on the Ferrari of Westy, but a lot of action in the midfield.
And the action. Oh, there's more sped. It's a turn 1, 3 cars off the track. Stewie Sterling has been caught up in another incident. I believe the name of Zero was just about able to come out of it unscathed, but yeah, another bit of contact in this race. What is happening with these guys? They just can't quite keep their cars on track. Not sure what's happened here. Up at the front, it's just so civilized. Everyone running around in a train.
Yeah, we've just had a Tin Can overtake Westy, and that's pretty much it. Really clean, nothing really happening, but yeah, and I think Tin Can will keep that 2nd place. Westy is just a little bit wide there.
And now he's going to have to contend with the Toro Rosso of Mark chasing his first ever podium, his elusive podium, and he runs wide at the final corner. Yeah, and Campbell is keeping up with these guys on super soft tyres. That is impressive for him. And of course,
I think this is about the time when the super softs will actually start to be their best.
So now the McLaren's going to go on the charge. He's closing up to Mark, but it's a long way back even into the hairpin, so he's not close enough for a dive. I'm just looking for battles down the midfield. Here's another one. Evolution and Heated. Those guys are about to go at it. The Force India moves to the inside, goes late on the brakes, and is he going to squeeze him out? They're able to keep it nice and clean. Evolution though keeps it going round the outside, but the Force India of Heated does have the DRS, so he's going to pull back alongside. And now onto the brakes, into turn 4. Evolution has to concede that. Oh, the entry runs into the back of the Force India as Heated tried to park it, and then we've got more battling now as Zero managed to pick his way past Fuzu, who got caught out by that whole sequence as Kryptonite gets penalty, and then more battling down the inside. Goes Zero on Evolution. The Haas driver, I think he's got damage because he's ran into the back of 2 Force Indias. Still going to give a good fight though. Onto the grass is the Haas driver.
It did look like Evolution just let Zero through, and I think that's exactly what he did as he now goes into the pitch. Campbell is still trying to make a move on Mark. He's not close enough yet. Since Mark does have TRS on Westy as well. A lot of interesting battles here. The gaps are starting to increase in the midfield. Of course, Kryptonite is just pulling away. Nothing really to say about that. I'm curious to see when these guys will actually enter the pits, because if Ben attempts an overcut, I think that might actually work, since we know that the overcut is really strong here in this game, and I think that's his only real chance of getting closer to Kryptonite and battle for the lead.
He does look pretty quick. He's definitely not losing any time. Of course, since he's got past Westy, that gap has stayed pretty stagnant. But anyway, in the
Mark
background,
makes a mistake
Campbell
and goes wide into the final corner, and Campbell is now into fourth. It's really unfortunate for Mark.
Mark takes a blow in his fight for the podium, but he's not done with yet. He's tracking the McLaren up to turn 3. Jaco
Look at
is going
Jaco.
to do his teammate a favour. Not late enough on the brakes, so he gives him a little tap, but they're just about able to pull out of it with no damage. But yeah, Campbell really impressing early in this race, making places. He was the fastest Supersoft runner in qualifying, and he's showing that pace again. Now up to 4th as his tyres are they're faring up a lot better than those around him, and I would expect to see the pit stops from the Ultrasoft runners about now, and they want to get out of the way, because Campbell is going to be coming at them like nothing else as he chases down. He's still 3 seconds off the lead, but he looks impressive as Kryptonite and Den and Westy, all the top 3 now into the pits.
And Westy has just hit the wall.
Oh,
Westy will now enter the pits, and he will have to change his front wing. I think he does have damage. It looked to be pretty serious there. There you go. He is in need of a front wing change.
As Jaco gets up alongside Mark into turn 3 at the hairpin, tries to hold it right outside. He gets it done before he even turns the wheel. Very impressive late braking from Jaco. That's another blow for Mark. He picked up a penalty just then. So yeah, his race was looking really promising at one point. He's lost out to both the McLarens now, and it's not looking so great for the Toro Rosso right now. But he's still in that fight. He's just got to keep up, and maybe both the Toro Rossos have stayed out quite long. One of them is going to have to pit early this lap. One of them's going to have to stay out an awful long time and lose an awful lot of time. As Kryptonite out on the soft, he's got a decent lead now over Ben and Westy. The amount of time he's lost, he's now 12 seconds off the lead, or 13 seconds off the lead even. So Campbell, he was looking like...
Campbell goes into the pits.
Oh, that's early.
I think he's just trying to counter Kryptonite.
Oh. Yeah, I guess he's trying not to allow... He's trying to not to allow the undercut to take too much of an effect, but he's robbed himself of a chance of having much fresher tyres at the end of the race, which I find a little bit odd. He's now got to chase down the leaders on pure pace as opposed to actually having a tyre advantage. So Campbell, he is still within a shot of winning this, but he does have quite a bit of work to do, because that one lap of the undercut as Kryptonite, he's been shoved off the track by Foos, I think. So yeah, our night race leader getting himself into battles that he doesn't really want to be fighting, and yeah, that could allow the chasing pack to get right up onto him. So exciting times ahead in this race.
Tickaby is really struggling on his soft tires. I was just looking at Wave's point of view. A lot of wheel spin out of turn 2 for the Mercedes, and he does seem to lock up quite a bit. Ooh. The name is Zero and Heated have their little battle going on, so the two Force Indias will now start a new lap with a bit of a change there. Zero is now into 5th place, as Kryptonite will easily overtake Heated with the DRS and the fresher tires. Westy picks up a 3-second time penalty, so his race is it's pretty much done for now. It's really unfortunate for him. Kryptonite will get another overtake done on the second Force India. Goes a bit wide.
Has he? He gives up the position again. He was doing a pretty good job of getting through those guys quickly, but now he got work to do, because he's going to have to go round the outside of the name of Zero. But the Force India Martin gives up the fight, just late braking from Kryptonite on those much fresher tyres.
And he did have the DRS as well.
Now Ben is going to have to contend with these guys, the Renault and the two Force Indias. He's just seen Kryptonite pick all those guys off, and that's could be really key for the Mercedes drivers race. Now he's got a bit of a buffer between himself and his nearest contender, but Ben wants to get a move on here. Down the inside of Fuz into the penultimate corner. Really clean driving for both of them, and yeah, good move from Ben, or Tin Can. He moves up. Tonalvina finally goes in. Jaco has stayed out a little bit longer after pitting onto the safety car, and his race isn't looking so bad now. So yeah, good job from the McLaren, and the other McLaren of Campbell works his way through. He's chasing down that pack ahead. Ben still pursuing those two Force Indias who go into battle almost into turn 3. But now, with the Tin Can getting held up, it's allowing Kryptonite to escape up the roads.
Seeing two Force Indias in 5th and 6th, it's just reminding me of Division 3 because that's exactly what we had over there. With the two Force Indias, of course. One of them drivers being myself. So this is looking really familiar. The thing is, I think Heated and Zero should probably stop fighting because they're really pushing each other up the track, pretty much, and it's not good for either of them, as Ben will now get past the first Force India. Oh, and Zero is back. He does not want to give up this position. This could have been a lot worse, but thankfully Zero decided to back out of that battle with Ben.
Jaco out the pits, and he's just behind his teammate, but he's got 3 lap at pressure tyres. He's going to be one to watch. As down the inside goes Ben on Heated, but he's lost heaps of time. He's almost 3 seconds off now, so he's got plenty of work to do if he wants to win this race. He's got pace, we know. He's going to have to use it now if he wants to chase him down. But now the 2 McLarens and Mark, they've all got their work cut out, as interestingly Wave has put on a set of the Supersoft. So he did stay out a long time. That's probably why. He's wanted to give himself an opportunity to be a bit quicker at the end of the race. He's just in front of Westy, who we know had his issues earlier on with the pit entry. But yeah, Ben just got to get his head down now, focus on trying to get that gap to Kryptonite down. Kryptonite looks good. If Ben picks up a penalty, that's not going to help his chances. As behind him, look at this, Campbell challenging Fuz, challenging Zero. They're all bunching up here. The Rhino driver looks to the inside into turn 1, doesn't quite get it done as Waves hits the fast slap. He looks impressive with his pace, and now things are about to get tasty because Campbell, he seemed to... Was it just me, or did he lock up down the straights? It was quite odd there.
I think it was a bit of a connection issue there.
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. This is an interesting DRS train here, which will only benefit Campbell, to be honest, as Tin Can will have to try and defend from Heated, who does not want to give up that easily, and he is still going for the Red Bull. Campbell does have a chance to get back in the race, if not for the race win, at least for second. Because Kryptonite, the gap between him and Tin Can is just increasing each lap.
Yeah, Kryptonite looks very, very impressive behind him. Foo's getting very defensive from Jaco. Jaco gets his nose ahead before turn 1 though, and he sweeps running outside. He's got the freshest tyres out of these bunch, so he's going to have the pace. Speaking of pace, Campbell gets a run on Zero, moves up to the inside, turn 3. Zero though late on the brakes. He's going to hold on round the outside, but the McLaren gets through. Now his teammate Jaco, he didn't get the best run out of turn 3, couldn't quite get it done. These Force Indias really not lying down, as Zero has a look at the inside of Campbell even. So yeah, 2 Force Indias, despite not exactly having the pace, they're still putting up a fight. Jaco managing to pick his way past Zero as the Force India slides wide, or has he? Because Zero's not getting itself up around turn 5. But yes, Jaco able to get himself in front. Another good overtake. Oh, that's up ahead. Campbell is spun. Heated's gone spinning off into the wall. I'm not sure if that was desync or what, but Campbell he's given up this position to his teammate, who's now been able to be released. But yeah, Heated rotten luck with the Force India. He was driving a good race, but he's now out of the points without a front wing, and he's going to have to pit.
And look at Mark, because he's come a long way since the pit stop, and is now into 8th. He's really close to Fuzz. And the battle between Campbell and the Force Indias, I think has been really good for the Toro Rosso driver, who is now has a really good chance to fight for the podium. We'll see. Mark does have a... Does he have a penalty? I think he does have a 5-second stop go, if I'm not mistaken.
He does.
I think that might come into play later, as we approach the end of the race. Since I think Campbell is clean pretty much. I don't think J. Cole or Tim Can. Oh, okay, Tim Can has a 3-second time penalty, but J. Cole I think is fine as well. There you go. Mark makes a move on Fuzz, and Mark will. Oh, as Fuzz gets into the pits. Well, Mark has a little bit of clean air here, and will try and get closer to the McLarens. Tigaby is still in the lead. 20 lap all soft tires. He will have to pit eventually. And just imagine a safety car right now. Imagine what this would mean for Tigaby.
Yeah. Completely change the dynamic of the race. Tigaby would be thrown in as a serious contender. He'd still come out right now. I don't know how long the pit lane loss is, but he'd still be in the top 10, I'd imagine. Well, he should be with fresher tyres. I wouldn't bet against him still getting a decent result because he wouldn't be too far off. Probably wouldn't be more than 10 seconds off the McLarens.
Well, we'll have to see right now.
Yeah. So he's going to have fresh, super softs, I imagine. Watch out for Tigaby. I reckon he's had a difficult... Oh, he must have a stop-go, though, because...
He does, and he does have a couple of 3-second time penalties as well. As Tim Can picks up a penalty. His second one. That's really not good for him, since J. Cole...
Yeah.
I think all of the drivers, except Mark, who of course has his 5-second stop go penalty, will be in front of Tin Can.
Yeah, so that promotes both McLarens onto the podium. Of course, Campbell with potential stewards inquiry with heated. Of course, there was the incident between those two. But he's still tracking his teammate. There's two McLarens. They always seem to be with each other on track. They have pretty good team dynamic, I'd imagine. Jaco, of course, has really emerged as a championship contender as of late. And he looks to be on for another strong result after it wasn't looking so good from earlier on. But yeah, Kryptonite, now almost 4 seconds clear. What a race he's driving. We've not really talked much about him because he's just got in front and drove off. There's not really much that can be said there. He's just driven a really clean race at this point, and right now he looks like a man on his way to victory if he can just keep it on the track.
As long as he doesn't get a puncture at the end, I think he will win this race. He's just so quick, and oh, Tigaby, another 3-second time penalty, so nothing's going well for him. There's no man on track that can beat Kryptonite here in Austria. A lot of penalties going out.
Campbell has made his way past his teammate, so he's got older tyres than Jaco, but nonetheless, the McLaren man still moves his way through, and these guys trading places multiple times. Mark is still in there, and closing in on all these guys is Ton Albinach or Wave. He's done a good job there on those super softs, which will probably eventually begin to run out of grip. He's run a different strategy to those around him, but right now it's working quite well for him as he's chasing down on this battle for P3. I don't know about his penalty situation, but he's now in there, closing in on his teammate, and of course with better tyres, he's going to be one to watch for sure now.
Sterling West, one of the quickest drivers in Division 2, former race winner, is now in just fighting for the final point, for the last point here. He is in 12th. He has really old soft tires, so I think he might have to pit again before the end of the race. So that's really interesting to see him so struggling to get a point here. And
He has
Tigaby,
been involved. He has been involved in quite a few incidents this race, so does explain why he's so far down there. But what were you going to say about Tigaby again?
yeah, Tigaby is now up into 8th, but since he has that many penalties, I think he might be in danger of losing his points here. And the thing about Tigaby is, if you had just seen what he did there, he is always pushing, and that might make him cause a really serious accident here. And I think Tigaby, to be honest, I think Tigaby will not finish this race. I'll just throw that out right now.
One.
I think he'll make a mistake somewhere, and that'll be it for him.
That is a bold prediction, I have to say. But just following this battle for P3 between the McLarens and the Toro Rossos, I'm interested to see what the Toro Rossos do about this. Mark has been tracking these guys the entire race, but just not after being overtaken by them. He's just not quite. He has good pace, but it's not going to be enough. I think he may have to let his teammate through, because I think that Wave has the better shot at trying to beat those McLarens on track. He's managed to catch these guys up and look impressive, but he's made a mistake, just as I say that. Still at the DRS though, so he stays with his teammate as they got towards turn 1. Hopefully his tyres don't start to give up, still a long way to go in this race. Jaco getting closer and closer to his teammate, not getting through though. He's just going to have to sit tight. Ben, I know he's got penalties and he's not exactly in a great position, but he is coming back at Kryptonite a little bit. And I'm pretty sure Kryptonite is just controlling this race, but considering he was just romping away with it, seeing the rest of the field really come back at him a little bit is just not quite characteristic of this race. I don't think he has much to worry about yet, but it's just something to note that Ben now beginning to reel him in.
I think he's just allowing that to happen, to be honest. Kryptonite has no real reason to make any... Look at that. Chinkan gets another 3-second time penalty, and Kryptonite probably knows that. So there's no reason for him to take any unnecessary risks. He's just gonna cruise around the circuit, and he'll have his victory.
Yeah, fair enough. He just has to keep the car moving, keep it on track. Doesn't have to take unnecessary risks, as you said, so I think you are right. It's just a little bit uncharacteristic. Oh, is Stewie? He's just gone straight on at turn 3. I'm not sure how he's managed that. I don't think he hit the brakes there. That was a really odd incident.
I think his controller or his wheel just malfunctioned there, because it's pretty hard to hit the wall over there. Unless you want to do it on purpose.
I was just going to say that. There was a chance that that was the case, unfortunately. Which is not that good to say, but anyway, we do hope that it was a surprise sight. There was a controller disconnection. Not that that's good for him, but just it's a little bit less dishonourable way to go out. But anyway, still tracking this battle between the McLarens. I don't think they're interested in fighting each other. If they battle, they're going to allow that Toro Rosso pairing to get up close to them. So I think they are just cruising around, trying to keep it clean. We'll see actually as Campbell gets a bit closer to Jaco, but again, has a little look, maybe just trying to put him off, but he's not going to go for anything too ambitious, especially on his teammate.
Well, I think that the McLaren pairing are just it might be in a party. They might just be talking to each other. Since last lap, Jaco got in front of Campbell without struggling. I would say it was a pretty easy overtake. I think they're just testing out, seeing who's quicker, just gonna be there, have DRS all the time, and they're gonna go like that to the end. They know that Tin Can has pretty considerable penalty, and it will be quite easy for the two McLarens to both finish on the podium if they just keep it clean and just keep that gap between them and the Red Bull. As the Toro Rosso of Mark is really dropping back, the gap is increasing to 1.6 seconds now, and Wave Intel is out of the DRS zone to his teammate as well.
I think that his tyres have just given up. We saw his pace earlier on, it was impressive, but those super softs just aren't quite giving him the grip that he wants. Tigavy, I know he does have plenty of penalties, but he's still on the move, and he could give us some entertainment at the end of this race. He's still got youth in his tyres, so he's going to have good pace, and he has been setting quick lap times. Westy behind him, who could have been in that fight for P2 potentially, but obviously it's not quite worked out for him. After really impressing qualifying, the race just hasn't gone well for him. That one mistake is setting back a huge amount. Yeah, these two McLarens though, they're racing very smart, not picking fights with each other, just driving around and keeping it clean, which is exactly the kind of team. It's not amazing for us because we want to see good racing, but I guess it's the best thing for them right now. I say that Campbell is getting a bit closer to his teammate, and Jaco moves to the inside. Does he back off? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
It just allows him around the outside. So these guys not losing each other at any time, which is just great teamwork and really intelligent racing from these guys. Mark trying to get into that DRS range, but he just has a tiny pace disadvantage over the cars in front of him, I imagine. And he's got penalties, so I can't see him really challenging, to be honest.
He did get a bit closer, since the McLarens had to make their move, but it's not enough, as he is losing time again. Just looking at Tigavy, hopefully he doesn't make that mistake that I was talking about, which can happen. And the thing is, Wave and Tigavy have had a really unfortunate incident 2 weeks ago, where Tigavy actually took the Toro Rosso driver out. So hopefully we're not going to see that again, and the McLarens change again. Jake goes back into third.
At what point, I mean, I'm interested to see if these guys, in the last few laps, because, you know, it'd be a little bit unfair if one driver had to just follow the other home. I know they're teammates, but I'm sure they both want this P2 as much as each other. I'm not sure if these guys are just they might want to just get their elbows out in the last few laps. It'd be an interesting one. Another penalty for Tin Can. He's putting himself at the mercy of dropping like a stone through the field, despite running in P2 comfortably on track.
Tigavy and Wave are now fighting on track. Wave is not gonna let Tigavy through without a fight here. He has some things to prove, and they have their history of coming together. So let's see what they'll do. Tin Can. Ooh, Campbell with a penalty. Well, this race has started to become interesting. Tigavy now into turn 2, pushes the Toro Rosso driver a bit wide and gets in front. That's just what you expect from Tigavy.
Wave is not going to lie down though. He's desperate to come back and tries to outbrake him around the outside, but there's no way through there. Tigavy gets through with a tackle, aggressive move from him. Campbell gets past his teammate, but of course he does have the penalty. I think it shouldn't affect his position, to be honest, because people around him have penalties as well, except for potentially a Wave. No, Wave does have penalties actually, but he does have one penalty. So Campbell, and imagine he's still fine to get that P3.
Evolution retires.
no safety car. So yeah, unfortunate for Evolution. I don't think he was running particularly high up regardless, but anyway, he's immediately at the session. To McLaren's, going side by side again, or Campbell just lets him through again. But this is actually allowing Mark to get a bit closer. Mark, we were talking about him, not being so quick, but he has actually picked up in the last few laps. He's got DRS now. He's just got to focus on keeping it. These McLarens, well, they swap positions. One of them loses a lot of time. So gradually, it has allowed the Toro Rosso driver in. And of course, Tegavy, despite his penalties and despite Mark penalties as well, they're both managing to claw their way back. So even though it might not change much in the final positions, it's nice to see just a bit of battling between these guys, as that everyone appears to be bunching up there, and we've got a bit of a climax on our hands for P3 on track. Should be good to watch.
No, it's interesting. I would have expected J. Cole to just let Campbell through and let him try and get closer to Tin Can since he got his time penalty. But looks like J. Cole really wants to finish in front of his teammate on track. And Tiggerby now will get in front of Mark, just as he did with his teammate. A little bit of contact there. Tiggerby will be in front. And I think Tiggerby has a good chance of getting in between the McLarens before the end of the race. And I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that Tiggerby will necessarily finish in front of the McLarens. I'm just saying that him battling it out with Campbell and J. Cole might actually end up helping Mark, who will just have to stay there behind and basically look at what Tiggerby does and try to follow suit.
I think Mark's his podium dream, it's beginning to, well, it was beginning earlier, but it is beginning to disappear from him a little bit. He's driven a good race, but ultimately it does look like he's going to be edged out here. But Tiggerby, his pace is really, really impressive. His tyres won't be in the best of shape, but neither will the guys around him. It's the penultimate lap, and the Mercedes driver closing in on Campbell, doesn't send it. Hangs back, but now Campbell is getting the DRS from his teammate. Oh, big slide from Tiggerby. He manages to save it, but loses a heap of time. I think that might, yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to close back to Campbell now. So Tiggerby looked like he was pressuring that Scott in the McLaren, but looks like he's going to have his work cut out if he wants to get back to him now. Tiggerby now a second behind Campbell.
That is that sort of mistake that I was expecting from Tiggerby.
Yeah, you mentioned that, yeah.
As he always tries to basically push the car to the limit, and he never wants to give up any sort of position whatsoever. That's what happens when you're just that kind of driver. I would say he's a bit stubborn, to be honest, because if he had hit the wall there, he would have lost everything. He doesn't need to fight Campbell for this position because he's gonna lose it either way. So why risk it?
He's having a go at him now into turn 3, up the inside, and Campbell, oh, because a little bit of contact. I think Campbell was probably quite sensible to give that one up. He don't want to get too rough with Tiggerby because you'll probably end up coming up worse. But Tiggerby, one thing I noticed about him, he always uses more of the racetrack than his opponents. He's really aggressive with, like, just not just with other cars, but really just trying to maximise himself, and that does inevitably lead to mistakes. He's kind of got a similar driving style to me in a way, where he just chucks the car into a corner and hopes. But one man that's been just completely untouchable today, Kryptonite, round the fade corner, has driven an absolutely perfect race, and he crosses the line for a deserved win. Now, Ben, who lost about 12 seconds of penalties. Now, oh, Todd Alvarez got a penalty in the final corner. Could that change things? Jaco ahead of Campbell. Ben still gets 4th. Wave would have been 4th ahead of Tin Can, but that penalty did cost him Bark just behind his teammate. Tiggerby ends up falling 7th, just ahead of Bag of Bones. I say just, there's less than a second between them. Westy, what could have been for him, could have been a podium. Instead, he has to settle for 9th out of Sterling West. Instant pack race for him. And yeah, that's going to round off your top 10 for the Austrian Grand Prix.
So we have yet another McLaren pairing on the podium. This tends to happen a lot. Jekyll and Campbell have been on the podium many times before, and it's happened again. Kryptonite is the race winner, so congratulations to him. We've had a really interesting race, a lot of chaos at the beginning and after the safety car restart. Let's nothing much happened before after that, to be honest. Uh, but a lot of penalties, as we see here on this final screen. And who should we go for as the driver of the day?
Ooh, tough one. Obviously, a lot of guys that could have had good races ended up being involved in incidents, of course. Suppose we'll look at who gained what positions and make a judgment based on that. But look, just before we tell it, look at all those penalties. Yeah, every driver that finished got a penalty.
Yeah, even
That's,
one who didn't finish. So, well, yeah,
yeah, that's crazy.
I'll have to say
Like, 'cause-
J. Cole is my driver of the day. Seeing that
yeah, I
he
see that.
pulled off a two-stop, starting from fifth and finished second. Of course, Campbell
Yeah,
is a good candidate as well.
yeah, I think the top three really are the only choices for me. I think you have to pick any one of those because I don't think anyone else really stood out that much. So
Well,
I think if you were picking a driver today,
you
it would be
could
one
go
of those three.
you could go for Tiggerby, who's
I guess.
had a lot of overtakes in the race, and if it wasn't for penalties, he would have been on the podium.
True, but really, penalties you can't really use as an excuse, you know. Where you finished is where you finished. He did drive a very feisty race. We saw him make a lot of great overtakes and have great pace, but ultimately he didn't get as good of a result as he should have got for me. So I think it has to be one of those top three.
Yeah, that's true. So, that's that. The Austrian Grand Prix is done. We'll see you next week. Where is that? Let me just think. Uh,
Uh, Hold on, I can have a look. It's at Marina Bay, Singapore.
oh,
Oh, that's a fun venue. Oh, I'm sure all the drivers will be dreading that one, or some. Actually, no, it's a bit of it's a bit of a Marmite track. So a lot of people do love the track as well as hate it.
well,
So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
I absolutely love Singapore, so yeah, I'll definitely be there. Well, there you have it. This race is done. Kryptonite has won this Austrian Grand Prix. Tiggerby losing a lot of points, our championship leader. We'll have to see the standings and how they look now after this race. YHYY is not back, so don't think Tiggerby got dethroned so far. But there you have it. We have been Tammed, or Dake H23, which I think is that. Does that stand for your initials from your name?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's fair. And myself, Robert, we have been your commentators for today, and yeah, we'll see each other next week in Singapore.
Yep, see you then.